What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back again. Sheepstaysleeptv. TV. I got my brother here with me, Israel Doctrine, and came back to Sheepstaysleeptv. TV. And I just brought my brother back here with me today, so we could discuss the new movement he has created on social media, basically in an attempt to help find a missing child or a victim of something that's been real, you know, devastating. So we're here today to talk about what happened to that boy and the movement that this brother has created. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody who gonna come through and support me and the brother. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my brother Israel Doctrine. If y'all haven't, make sure y'all go share this show right now on y'all social media because everyone needs to hear what's going on with this hashtag that this brother has created, which is a movement on social media. We need to understand how powerful hashtags are. Hashtags are very, very powerful. Hashtags has turned into businesses and all types of things. So this hashtag this brother has created is very, very important. And we need to stand behind this because a lot of times we like to, jump on topics when they're only hot on TV, especially when it's dealing with, molestation, rape, you know, um, children going missing. We like to have these types of conversations when something happens on TV. But here it is. It's been a person missing for years now. And nobody wants to discuss that. So I really honor the brother for doing this. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery, man. So make sure y'all go and share this. So what's up, big bro? How you doing today, man?
Oh man, I'm good.
Okay. So just give the audience a little background of your whole advocacy for this missing boy that's been missing since 2013. You might as well say it's 4 years or three and a half
Yeah.
or whatever. But give us a little background.
Well, on April the 1st, 2013, April's Fool's Day, right? So later on in the afternoon, Africa Bambaataa was stabbed by a young man. Could say boy, but we're gonna say young man, right? Because a lot of people trying to argue what exactly was his age or whatever. Only those that knew him, seen him, or seen a picture of him knows about what type of age and adolescent, grown, or whatever it is. Stabbed Africa Bambaataa due to the fact that Africa Bambaataa tried to date rape him. He the young man was drugged. How he was drugged, who drugged him, what happened with that, no one knows. It wasn't spoken of or whatever, but the young man was drugged. Now the statement is date rape. Date rape denotes that the young man was on some type of date with Bambaataa, pretty much. And just like male and female dates and stuff, if somebody say no and they don't want to do it, then you have to stop. You can't force them to have sex with you or do things of that nature. So, like Bill Cosby and other people, they hit you with the Mickey or they hit you with the, roofie or whatever they call them nowadays. So they hit you with the Molly, knock you out, and you ain't even know that they got them some. So whatever the situation was, the young man was unconscious, and Bambaataa put his pants down, put his mouth on his private parts, and put his finger up his waist system and begin to sodomize him both ways. The young man woke up, started stabbing Bambaataa them. Either he did it that day or he did it the next day. Now, all these details are easily found out by talking to Khalil Money, who received the information that night, April the 1st, to write a blog or anything about the incident. New York sources. He got it from a music industry insider and from security insider. And he wrote the article April the 2nd. After he wrote the article, he posted the article. After posting the article about the Bambaataa being gay and date raping a young man, he received threats from the Zulu Nation by way of DJ K-Slay, the drummer king. They contact him because he worked for DJ K-Slay, the drummer king, in writing for his Straight Stun magazine, which is a magazine, you know, K-Slay only deal with hip-hop issues and stuff. Now, they contacted K-Slay and say, tell your man to cease and desist with that. Take that down, or we're going to do some harm to him or whatever. So we'll talk about Khalil Money a little later, but he is the first person to write this article and bring this information out on April the 2nd before anybody, before it hit any publications or anything, YouTube, Facebook, or things of that nature. And so afterwards, he took it down, complying to his boss, DJ K-Slay. He took it down. And as time went on, he found out that it's moving on the internet, his article. So he just put it back up. So I think the date for it going back up is April the 17th. In between this time, he sent the article to Troy Terrain, DJ Star, from the Star Chamber of Shot 97. So he had the article. He read it and he spoke on it a little bit, but he didn't move on it until he say Ron Savage hit him up on Twitter, and then he moved on it. So we can't get a proper time line on when he moved on it and when he started looking for the boy, but he proceeded to look for the boy that stabbed Bambaataa and stuff. I guess he remembered the article and said, well, it's a guy that stabbed Bambaataa, as well as this guy, Ron Savage, that just got in touch with me, want to come out. And during that same time, a video of her son Camel came out. He received a video of her son Camel and he put that up. Now, the video was up for a little while, and her son Camel, unbeknown to Star at the time, was on the phone with Mickey Benson, Ice-T's manager, as well as Ahmed Henderson, another guy that got stabbed with Bambaataa the night April the 1st, 2013. Now, they was on the phone trying to get his video taken down. He never said anything. But on the day that he came out, because he was trying to get the video down and keep things secret. But after a while, he was forced to have to deal with it, and the Zulus felt like they was betrayed with that video coming back out, even though he said he destroyed it and stuff. Somebody recorded it and brought it back out. Once you put stuff out here on YouTube, Facebook, and stuff, something of that value to the community or whoever seen it, you know, they're gonna make a copy of it. They're gonna download the audio, the video, and if they think that you about to do a video, they gonna turn on their recording device and record the audio or video. They gonna try to make sure that they got a copy of it, and that's what happened to them. So being ignorant of the internet, this video resurfaced again. They can't get the video down. Feel betrayed, and they turn on her son. A sister by the name of Pepsi She puts a hit out for Star, her son, and Sonetta, and different people that's coming against the nation and coming against, you know, the and Ra hip hop, the godfather of hip hop, Africa Bambaataa, the head of the first family, quote unquote, which is really the second family of hip hop. The Herculoids will be the first on the Cool Herc. But anyway, that's a little hip hop history for y'all that don't know. But so all this stuff is going on, and little by little they talking about the boy, but they not really focused on the boy. Star, once again, he had a campaign going asking what happened to that boy. Basically, where's the guy that stabbed Africa Bambaataa? He didn't use what happened to that boy. But I'm using that due to the fact that, you know, hip hop and consciousness and stuff is amalgamated, and most people that's in hip hop and in conscious understand that because it's been branded in their head by Birdman and, you know, Pusha T and Malice, the Clips. So I thought it would be nice to ask what happened to that boy and use that phraseology and everything because it's familiar with people. But like I said, Star had a campaign looking for him. He got some videos out there, but he got them private. They're unavailable to the public. Now, in dealing with this, I reached out to Star and I hit him in his email. I woke up one morning, called him on Star in the morning, and was in his inbox, and he read the chat, and he was like, "Oh, if that's the real Israel Doctrine or whatever, you know, hit me up in my email." I didn't know his email at the time, but I found it, the hater and whatever 19 whatever 67 or whatever it is. But anyway, I hit him up and I asked him, did he know about Hassan Camel being on the phone with Mickey Benson and Ahmed Henderson? He said, yes, I know about it. He confirmed this or said this in one of his interviews. I think this is the first video he opened up in a long time. And it was Poppy Hassan Camel's first interview with Star. And it was at 8 minutes and 5 seconds or whatever. And he said, oh yeah, by the way, I was in the background on the phone with them when they tried to get you to take my video down. So he admitted it to Star, and Star knew about it, which was very questionable to me. I was like, well, if you knew that he was trying to get the video down and he was trying to hide things, then why are you building him up like he's a great, you know, individual that really wanted to come out and fight this thing when we all know that he was forced out? Seeing that he took the video down, that's one cover up. The Zulus and Bambaataa, that's another cover up. He agreed to cover things up. And then he was on the phone with Mickey Benson and Ice-T trying to cover things up. And when he couldn't do it, eventually they turned on him. And then he was forced to fight. And so since he was forced to fight, he went out and started, you know, pursuing the avenues that he pursued. And we all know what that is. He came out on Star April the 11th, 2016. And he came to the House of Consciousness a little bit after that, did the press conference. And man, eventually he went to Queen's Flip, sit down on the couch and was saying, where that boy at? I know I was one of the soldiers that was supposed to hit him. And, you know, that's where we at today. What happened to that boy? Seeing that there was a hit put out on that young man. And that's not the only place he told the story about, you know, Bam coming to him and asking him to, you know, take revenge for him against this boy that stabbed him. So we want to know what type of involvements Hassan had in the missing of this boy in whatever shape, form, or fashion that he's missing, whether if he's dead or whether if he ran away or whatever. Did Hassan, you know, tell the boy to get away, they're trying to kill you, or did he kill him, or do he know who else was ordered to put a hit out on this young man? It's just a bunch of stuff that's on the table that we trying to figure out right now.
Right. Thanks a lot for that. You just connected a lot of dots for me because my whole thing behind, because I watched the Queen's Flip interview and because I watched Flip the Script. So I watched all his episodes. So I definitely watched um I watched Poppy episode and I noticed when he does
Episode
interviews,
29. Episode 29. Episode 29.
right, episode 29. And I noticed that when he had the interview with Queen's Flip, he was very candid about a lot of things. And what I want to know is if, and I wonder if other people noticed this, but he said when he got the picture and the information on this boy, he went to Bam's house to get it.
Young boy, and he went to Bam's house to get it.
Right. So again, if you wasn't messing with this dude, or if you wasn't rocking with the Zulus and all of this type of stuff like he claims in other interviews, why did you
Even in
go?
that interview,
Right. Why did he go to Bam's house to get this information? If Bam knows where any one of y'all is at all times, according to him, they could find you anywhere you are. So why did you have to go to Bam's house? Because it shows that the contradictory that he constantly spews out is crazy to me, because my whole thing is this: if you claimed that you were tired of what Bam was doing to these children, why didn't you contact that boy or find that boy and y'all go and turn Bam in together?
well, see,
Why didn't that happen?
it's not really a contradiction, because what he tried to explain is when he seen the picture, that's when he said, I'm no longer messing with Bam. But he say when he went to jail, Bam bought him commissary. When he got out, Bam took care of him, bought him some clothes and stuff. Bam bought his dog some, did something with the vet, and Bam gave him some. So Bam and him was still rocking. And even as he said in the Doggy Diamonds video and other videos, I could call Bam today, even after this shit, and Bam will still give me money and do stuff, because S has been very questionable. Him and Bam was pretty much lovers. They was pretty much lovers. He said he wasn't his lover, he was his father and stuff. Why would you have to tell us that and try to ensure us or tell us Bam wasn't your lover? Him and Bam had a relationship, and his relationship wasn't father and son, because fathers don't suck on their son dicks unless they're sick individuals. So even if Bam is considered Bam his father, he know his father is a sick individual, and he allowed his father to do those things to him. So to me, I say they was more lovers than father and son and this and that. Because as Khalil Money wrote, and you could go to the Khalil Money reader, he wrote about Bambaataa and his fetish for Puerto Ricans and Hispanic people and stuff, young men. And that's his fetish. And as he said in that piece in his write-up and even his video, you could go to his YouTube too, it showed that he was fighting with Queen's Flip, and he didn't want to say what his ethnicity was. He didn't want to say that he was a Puerto Rican or he was Cuban or whatever Latin background he from. But that's what Bam liked, and he didn't said that before. Bam liked the light skin, so and so, and everything, and he fit that description. That's why he didn't attack people and said maybe you was ugly and Bam didn't want to have nothing to do with you. Maybe you was this and that. You're not his type. But he did it to me because I'm his type. So you know, it's a lot of sick stuff that been said and everything. But besides all that, me and this brother got into it. And the fact that he himself, we can ask what happened to that boy. Why is he so mad? Why is he so angry? As he say, why am I so mad? Why is people so mad? Why they killing people? Why they doing all this stuff? Because Bam touched him. I never would deny that Bam touched him. How and why Bam touched him is the conversation that I try to have with people. You know what I'm saying? He said he was molested before by a young lady, then by a male family member, then by two ladies, then Bambaataa got to him. So when Bambaataa made it to him, as he said on Doggy Diamonds, it was easy for him to molest him because he already been through the stages before and everything. So by that time, it was an acceptable practice with him. He was introduced to sexuality, though he might have been confused due to the fact that a young lady did it, then a man did it, then two ladies did it, and now this old rusty ass nigga doing it. He was, you know, he wasn't a stranger to sexuality and aspects of.
Wow, that's interesting. I got to go back and watch that Khalil Amani video because I'm actually subscribed to the brother, and I saw that video when it popped up. I just ain't have time to watch it, but that's interesting because you know a lot of African American men are attracted to Hispanics. You know, they are attracted to Hispanics, and it makes sense because in Bronx, New York, there's a very large population of Hispanic people. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans, there's a lot of Dominicans, you know, you have some Cubans, but there's a lot, some Mexicans, there's a big presence, you know, with Latin people in the Bronx. So you know, where his attraction for the whole, you know, Latino thing comes from, you know. And it's interesting because a lot of my friends, when they go to these Latin countries like Dominican Republic, um, from what they tell me is when you get off the plane in Brazil, they give you condoms, you know.
Yeah, that's what people that got AIDS in the porn industry and stuff. They went to Brazil and had sex unlicensed with porn stars that hadn't took whatever they called it. You're getting an echo back and forth. Whatever they call that text in the porn industry where they have the people go take the AIDS test, and that's where a lot of porn stars, actors, and stuff have went over there and had unprotected sex in their sex scenes, and you know, contracted AIDS and stuff because they get down over there. I mean, they get down, and you know, when you see videos like when Ja Rule went over there and everything, and you see these beautiful sisters and stuff, and them shapes and everything, and you know, they remind you of black sisters because they Afro Latin or whatever, however you say that. They got them Negroid features and stuff. They sisters, you know what I'm saying? And you know, but I'm not gay, so I don't look at, you know, Hispanic or Latin or whatever males. So I don't understand that weird ass attraction to those type of males. But you know, I guess that's the flavor around, you know, when you don't want to just deal with no African American with the nappy head and stuff, whether if it be male or female or whatever. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, and I noticed from you know, from what my friends told me who traveled to a lot of these, you know, Spanish speaking countries, um, they always tell me that it's, you know, the women there are very cheap. You know, you can have sex with them for not a lot of money. So it sounds like, you know, he was just down there, you know, fulfilling one of his sick fantasies, you know, and I believe he, you know, he went crazy.
Well, this is him being on the Bronx River. This is not him down in Brazil or Philippines or nothing like that. That's where he at now, and he supposedly been down there before doing things that he had no business. But it's attraction to him. It's his attraction in those in Bronx River in New York City that's of the Hispanic heritage. That's his cup of tea.
Right, right. And from the looks of things, you know, Poppy definitely looked like he has some Latino in him.
Yeah,
Definitely. From his
that's why
hair.
he was fighting with Queensfoot. Yeah, that's why he was fighting with Queensfoot.
Right.
He just wanted to claim to be black. Because Bambaataa like them Latinos, and that's his cup of tea. If he was gonna marry a man, or if he was gonna date a man and have a more intimate, long-term relationship, similar to the Hills and Poppy, it would be the Latino type, similar to himself.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, um, another question. Why do you think um Poppy is so mad at you for doing this when you're actually doing something he should have been doing as far as advocating for these victims? Why do you think he's so, you know, pissed at you? Because you only
Well,
doing what he's supposed to be doing.
well, like the sister Tawana Allen has said before, and she said she told him, I've always been advocating. I did a show in 2013 with the sister Abundance Child from the conscious community. She actually on the video of the picture with Sarnetta throwing up the sixes in the air and stuff. But we did a show dealing with child molestation. It was dealing with the sisters. Had about 3 or 4 sisters on there coming out talking about molestation stories and stuff. I done told stories of a preacher down here that ended up getting stabbed to death and everything because he was into that sick stuff. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's always been around me and affected me. It's a sister down here that got children by her father. I think she got 2 boys with him or whatever. And a lot of people, stayed around that house, but they had no idea that that thing was going on or where she got them babies from. That she could have got them from the streets or whatever. So it's always affected me. As I tell the story, when I was 14 in California, some molestation stuff was going on. So it's always been around me and affected me. It never affected me as far as somebody doing it to me for us. I can recollect, but like some of them and everything, I was introduced to porn at 9. I knew about sex. I was wild trying to grab as much cunt and anal, of females that I could and stuff, running around filling up on people when I was young and stuff. And I wanted to be very sexual active at a young age because I was introduced to it by way of video and stuff. So, when it came out that this happened in hip hop and all of that, Bambaataa, I know all about hip hop to a degree. I was on it ever since Star brought it out. And I've been advocating. So I called Poppy early last year and tried to get him on the show. As I said, I was persuaded that Poppy was the man and not Ron Savage. So I tried to get in touch with him. When I called him, he told me Sarnetta was on the other end. He was going to talk to Sarnetta. And we never talked again because I was like, well, I'm finna get blackballed again and everything. He didn't reach out to me. He had the phone number. I tried to reach him and stuff on Facebook. That's how I got his number. So he could have got back to me. Matter of fact, he even added me one time on Facebook and deleted me a long time ago before this shit even came out. I knew him because he was in that orange shirt with the white stripes and the bully. And he added me. And I remember everybody else, that I deal with on Facebook like that. I'm good with faces and stuff. So I got in touch with him. He gave me his number. He could have got back to me, but he never did. And so when the Prince York situation came up with Bam popping up in a picture, showing himself openly again, something that he'd been telling this audience that, you know, into this so-called campaign that these brothers doing, happened. Bam Bada never showed himself and stuff, but now he in Brazil and he taking pictures and stuff, and ain't been no pictures of him or no sightings of him. But he popped up with Prince York, you know, and that's what made me call him. The conversation Sarnetta was having with Prince York that night. You know, me and Sarnetta was still in our drummer stage and stuff. So I was calling him like, look, man, me and Malik, Cuban Crisis just did a video and stuff. And then Tordic Noel came over. So I was heating up the conversation again. Excuse that train. Give me 1 second. It should pass by at least the engine and then it'll quiet down. So Tordic Noel came over and we was talking about this stuff. And so when Prince York popped up on Sarnetta, it was like they was trying to buffer some stuff. Prince York was trying to help Bambaataa out and everything. And he was trying to say, oh, I don't know about the allegations and stuff. You know, his child abuse conversation was popping up. But when it came to Bambaataa, he was like, I kind of heard of it, but I ain't studied and stuff. So I called Poppy and told him. I was like, man, look, they over here bullshitting with this conversation and everything. And he was like, yeah. And he started talking to me and he mentioned killing Bambaataa and Sarnetta and different things. So I popped on my recorder and started recording the conversation because I'm like, hold up, man, why you telling me all this murderous shit? This is, you know, this is disturbing to me. And then I know with stuff like this, the police or, you know, hip hop police or the FBI and stuff could be listening. So I'm trying to protect myself at this point. So I got a little bit of the audio. I ain't get all of it because until you start really going in, I didn't record them. But like I said, that's the first time I really did a pre-interview like that. So he told me a lot of stuff, and then once we got on the show, he started saying, well, thanks Sarnetta and Irritated Genie and Tazariak and Young Pharaoh, they need to come back and help with this and stuff. And I was like, well, that ain't what this motherfucker was saying on the other end to myself. So, you know, I had my doubts. I started looking at him funny. But a couple weeks later, he called me and we was talking about Kev Gills and he was asking about AdSense and stuff. And I told him about AdSense and everything. And I was like, yeah, these people been caking off of you. They've been getting 50, 60, 70,000 shit, 100,000 views and shit off of you. And if they at that time had it with AdSense on it, with ads on it, yeah, they made a pretty good penny at that time. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, I had 80,000 on my first video, this and that. He was like, do you do it? I was like, yeah, I do it and stuff. So I guess he was like, oh, nigga, you trying to make some money off of me and everything. So I was like, look, man, yeah, you can monetize your page and do this and that. But I tell you what you should do. You should start an organization. Sit down, write who, what, when, where, why, and how. And come up with a name and start you a YouTube on that. And then get a logo and move forth with that. Me and Dollar Skill, we was having a conversation on one of my shows and I mentioned it again. So ever since I mentioned it, he never spoke on creating an organization or he haven't created an organization. And he could never say I never told him that or he never heard me say that because I've been saying it. But he didn't want to start an organization. And the only reason I could figure he didn't want to start an organization is because he would have to be responsible for the money that the people sending him. If they send it to him in his private account, then as he said the other day, he can burn it. He can do whatever the fuck he want to do with the money. But if it was sent to an organization that was supposed to be allocated for the helping of victims and children and stuff, then he wouldn't have the availability to the money like that because it's allocated to the children. Now, as we all know, when you have an organization, 501c3 and all of that, you can employ yourself and give yourself a salary. So he still could have ate off of millions of dollars coming in and help the children, but he didn't want to create an organization. That was funny to me. And this is when Conscious Speculation dropped the scam alert on him. And I made a video saying, go hard or go home. You playing out here in the YouTube streets and stuff. You need to stop that. And he came in the chat, told me, you know, my channel weak and everything. I can't give him no advice and all that shit. And that's how we actually got into it. So from there, it led to him talking about my mother and everything. And it is what it is now. But regardless to that, in researching him, I read the article where he said what he said in the Day Wedge Vice magazine article about Bambaataa calling him the first soldier and, you know, to do the work. And he spoke to the brother and stuff. And so I used that as the tipping point to our altercation, verbal altercation, YouTube altercations against each other. But I was forced to do it before I wanted to because Conscious Speculation cut up the flip the script thing. I was asking the question a long time before that. I just never pursued it based off the information. And so when Conscious Speculation cut it up, when I told him, hey, man, don't fuck up what I'm doing over here, I was like, well, he didn't put it out there. I might as well pursue it. And that's why we're here now talking about what happened to that boy. Now, a lot of people act like I'm making a joke of it or whatever. But like I said, what you do is use something familiar, something that people familiar with, and already have a certain disposition against it or with it or whatever, and you use it. So that's something people can relate to because it was a nice little hit back in 2007. And so I used that, asking a plain question, what happened to that boy? It's just to bring you back to the time in the song and make you think. So that's what we at today. What happened to that boy?
I mean, I'm definitely in alignment with it. You know, I feel like it's very creative, you know, because the actual brrr is like a bird call. So it's like we're calling out, asking, you know, what happened to that young man. But I got another question for you, ID. You said earlier that the brother Mickey Benson is Ice-T's manager. And also I've noticed you said how, you know, a lot of the Zulu warriors are in hip hop as managers, as security, um, as well as a whole lot of other things. So do you think, you know, the brother was afraid to actually create this organization because his face will constantly be in the public? You know, he would be like basically wide open. So maybe he's afraid
No,
to
Poppy's the illest, realest killer next to B.O. He's baby B.O. He's the reason the Zulu is even back in Bronx River. They don't get no rougher, tougher than him. So why would he be afraid to create an organization? And him and others have been trying to get, you know, the council overthrown and set up other Zulus as head and everything to really try to say the Zulus, you know, something that, you know, he claimed that he wanted to do. It's a lot of people trying to take over the stripes and change the organization as we speak. They're trying to overthrow the old regime and start a new one. So this is something that a lot of people don't know or even, you know, talking about or whatever. But, you know, King, Zulu, something, and it's a couple people that's trying to do it as we speak. And I think they got a little more leadership, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on because the Zulu Nation is a big enterprise. The thing is, Bambaataa owns the what you call it, not patent, but trademark. He owned Zulu Nation. Other people might own they trademark, Zulu trademark, but he owned Universal Zulu Nation, I believe. And therefore, that's the head council of the World Council. Now, when you say World Council, And this is why I call for an international warrant to be put out on Africa Bambaataa from the International Criminal Court. A judge from there, you know, judges write warrants and stuff. And that's basically where it's at. We didn't talked about the RICO a little bit and stuff with the hit being called and things like that. But the Zulus, for us, the Zulu Nation, is compiled of a lot of different, you know, dignitaries, politicians, policemen, and they all throughout society, you know. And some of them is still loyal to the Zulus in a way, or to Bambaataa in a way. And some of them might just be homosexuals and different stuff and want to help push the pederast agenda. But that's the biggest problem, that they're a big organization, make money. You could go to the Zulu Nation UK site and you'll see all kind of rappers over there and a bunch of children. And, you know, all you got to do is research and look at this. So they everywhere. They using the hip hop culture to amalgamate in different continents. I think they're in 6 out of the 7 continents. And it's a powerful organization, man. And a lot of people don't want it destroyed. So what Hassan, Ron Savage, and others have done in coming out, TC Islam and Lord Sharif and, you know, Lord Jamal and all the different people that stepped out to speak against Bambaataa and stuff, you know, it didn't kind of hurt their market brand. This is what Mickey Benson was talking about when he was talking to Ron Savage. He was like, why are you trying to hurt the brand? This is our tool and this is our means of getting money. You know what I'm saying? Feeding our families and stuff, which Poppy said himself in the Day Wedge article. He said, I'm trying to protect the Zulus and the Zulu warriors, which is full of a bunch of ex-criminals. They come out of jail, they join the Zulu warriors, and to keep their job, do you think they'll do a little dirt?
I mean, of course, you know, I asked that question too because, you know, he talk about being the toughest, roughest killer and all of that, but you only tough and rough to people who don't know you. They know you, and I'm pretty sure he's not the toughest Zulu warrior. That's why he's afraid to really come out and advocate. He's afraid to get out here on the front line and actually do stuff because every day he would have to have soldiers around him, which will not be Zulu warriors. He would have to get other people who's in alignment with his movement to protect him. And they're not as strong as these Zulu dudes. So I think the brother's actually afraid because, like he said, he's gonna need money in case he has to move his family. Because, you know, his life might be in danger. His family life might be in danger. And you just stated how they're on 6 out of 7 continents. So imagine how many states they're in. So anywhere he go, him and his family can be hit at any time. You see, TC Islam was killed in Atlanta.
Well, that's because TC was on the run. No one can really pinpoint if the Zulus did it or not. But the fact that he was afraid and he wasn't in a familiar place and he was down in Atlanta left him open to, you know, unfamiliar terrain. So I actually looked on TC Islam Facebook, and he had a video on there talking about one day some cats just drove by. He had his piece on them, and they just sprayed where he was standing at. He getting down and shit, ready to shoot him and everything. He said they go turn around, come back, and like, oh, sorry, dude, my bad, and drove off. So was that a Zulu situation, or was he just in a wild ass part of the country, and he didn't know what it was because he wasn't familiar with that territory. And you know, they gone off that syrup and X and all that shit in Atlanta. Well, you just got a bunch of young wild people. So it could have been a robbery, like they said, or it could have been a Zulu hit. But one thing about it, he wouldn't have been in Atlanta if he wasn't afraid for his life and was running from the Zulus.
Exactly. And from what I heard Poppy say out his mouth every time he talk about TC Islam, he say that the Zulus did it.
Well, no one can really say, you know, this is what I tell people when I'm dealing with this stuff. All that I done read and heard, I state. All that I haven't read or heard, I do my best to not, to not insinuate or give my opinion that much. You see what I'm saying? Because when you're dealing with stuff like this and facts matter, then when you state something and it's not actual factual and you can't prove it, and they say, well, I never did that, or I never said that, or you lying on me, then you become questionable. So I always try to keep myself from being questionable. You know, Sonetta played the sound bite. Anything you say now is questionable, because every time you say something, or when I listen, I can find shit that don't add up no more. And it's like, hold up. Everything you say now is questionable, because I hear this 1 minute, then I go to 2 other videos and I hear a whole nother story. What the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. I agree with that. I definitely do. But so this whole, you know, what happened to that boy campaign, um, how much do you think is it's making an effect? Do you think, you know, it's doing what you set out for it to do?
Yeah, like I had to write it to one of his personnel over there that like to ask questions. I'm like, I'm not a leader of a group. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the guy that came up with the narrative and pushing the narrative, and other people have joined in the narrative, right? So yet this Zulu Nation molestation business has evolved into a movement, which we here talking about. And I'm trying my best to mobilize large numbers of participants in a collaborative quest. We on a quest to find that boy, a quest to discover new ways to deal with this matter of finding what happened to that boy, right? The hashtag P with 9 R's, what happened to the number 2, that boy 2013, is how we uh articulate what I got here. Yeah, articulate a call to action that goes well beyond vain conversation of last year, or the vain conversation of last year. It's one of the ways we are using info activism to utilize information about the 2013 victim of Africa Bambaataa being molested and missing, basically. You do know he has been missing going on 5 years. April the 1st, 2018 will be 5 years. So if you would please help in finding him by using the hashtag 9 R's, what happened, number 2, that boy 2013. And if Hassan Campbell cares to do the same, please let him know. If Star Chambers care to do the same, let him know. If Sonetta care to do the same, let him know. If Black Dot cares to do the same, let him know. If Young Pharaoh cares to do the same, let him know. If Doggy Diamonds care to do the same, let him know. Cares to do the same, let him know. If Shame TV cares to do the same, let him know. And let every other YouTuber know that they can use that hashtag in solidarity with everyone else that's wondering and looking for that boy and wondering what happened to that boy. But, you know, a lot of people hate me, hate my platform, hate the banging and stuff I've been doing for years on all the fake ass people in the community. And they don't want to stand in solidarity with, you know, a Black life being lost or missing at this point. So Do Black Lives Really Matter, as they came up with that tag doing the Michael Brown thing.
I got you. I got you. And I think that is very, very important, you know, that this information gets out there to the people. Because if we don't continue to push this narrative, this type of stuff will continue to get brushed under the rug. You know, so
yes, and remember that a narrative at the end of the day, people, as I came up with something else. Let me see if I can find some of it, right? It said the self-contained stories of Africa Bambaataa, Ron Savage, Hassan Camels, and other need something better than what we got last year. Therefore, what happened to that board narrative, the open-ended construct of the question given people, of the question, right, should be period, gives people an opportunity that they may or may not have realized last year, right? To help in ending this basically by finding that boy and seeing what really went on, because Bambaataa came out with a statement that he wasn't even stabbed and the Zulus lied about it. Why did they lie about it? Did they lie about it to cover up the fact that he got stabbed so therefore they can kill the person that stabbed him, or what? So it's a yes, the concept we have created at Israel Doctrine is opposed to each person's self-contained story. See, when we just talking about Poppy like we do, we forget about that there's a missing boy out there. When we just talking about what Bam done, we forget that there's a missing boy. So the narrative is, how can we end this child pedophilia ring and this child pederasty that Bambaataa has created into a culture, even in the name of hip hop? How can we end this? So then you start looking at everybody's story and looking at every situation and saying, how can we magnify this and let this be the tool or the situation that's going to end it? So this concept / question let people engage around what's meaningful to them. If Bambaataa is the one, then you think about his story or whatever, and you see how you can come from that angle. If it's Ron Savage, you see how you come from that angle. If it's Poppy, if it's this boy, if it's TC Islam or whoever story that you're more interested in and make you want to dive into this thing even more and ask more questions and come up with more answers, because when you ask questions, you want answers. So it said the quotable is open-ended in that why on hold up. The quotable is open-ended in that why on all street levels and was chosen for a reason. I was hoping it allowed us to witness the strength of street knowledge, something we have heard about yet never truly witnessed in hip-hop. Okay, we have witnessed the we all in the same gang and we heading for self-destruction movement, but this is another type of movement for today's generation. And it's a whole nother type of problem that, though it existed back then, it was unknown, it was covered up. Now it's uncovered in homosexuality, lesbianism. That agenda is wide open. And a lot of people have been molested, pederast, and everything else out here has been taking place in the community, from B2K to Immature to, you know, Beyonce and all of them. Because as Black Dot was talking about, a lot of these, you know, Ronan and, you know, Sasha Fear and all of that, well, that's because they didn't got a split personality. They didn't hid themselves, and the monster then came out due to the fact that people have been funneling with these children, just like R. Kelly did, Aaliyah, so on and so forth. These parents is leaving these children with these sick bastards, And this is what's coming up the same way Puff was left with Usher, Quincy Jones with Tevin Campbell and all of that. You know, these people are leaving their children with sick ass people. Not to say all of them are sick, I can't say for sure, but you know, it's very questionable what type of things took place with a lot of these gatekeepers when these children was passing through them gates. You know, as the brother Wise Intelligence say in one of his songs, it's funny how these pedophiles market your sons and daughters today. They have the girls walking around in Victoria's Secret shit, little young girls and stuff. They got boys doing all kind of stuff. I mean, we in a whole new type of culture and generation now. And, you know, we have to deal with narratives and stories and stuff and movements to better our situation by creating them or tearing them down. So we just in a fucked up situation. And though this conversation is, and this narrative fits this, it's a bigger picture and agenda at hand that we ain't even scratched the surface on yet, because we trying to figure out all the major players in here and what all they done and ain't done, and what we can prosecute or can't prosecute, and find some answers to these questions. Just this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was just going to kind of touch on that, but I didn't want to get off topic. But I'm glad you brought that up because you know a lot of the youth today, you know that be on YouTube and they you know they watch these videos and stuff like that. You know, when I speak to them, they always talk about this big conspiracy that's in hip hop and how you have to do sex rituals to get in the game and all of this type of stuff. And it's like now, you know, with you coming out along with other brothers and exposing, you know, what's been going on, it actually proves that this stuff is not a conspiracy anymore. A lot of this stuff is true because if you know, I'm from New York. You know, my wife, she's from the Bronx. So she grew up listening to Bam. She went to Bambaataa concerts, you know. So, and Black Dot is from the Bronx. He grew up, you know, listening to Bambaataa and all of these types of things, you know. My wife looked up the Africa Bambaataa in the Zulu Nation because of the information that they brought also through their music. So it's interesting how a lot of your big hip hop people, you can trace them back to Bambaataa, Russell Simmons. All of these people, they can trace back to Bam. So, you know, I'm glad you brought that part up because a lot of people make it seem like it's conspiracy, and it's really not. It's really true. You know, it's really true. Like I remember when there were no Bloods in New York. The gang, there was no Bloods. You know, the Bloods didn't really make their mark really in New York until I'm gonna say the mid to late 90s. But they were out in the early 90s when I was younger. But they didn't start really making a name for themselves till like the mid to late 90s, like when I got in high school. But before that, you had the Zulus. They were wearing red. They were wearing red bandanas too. And I see that a lot of things they actually, you know, co-opted from the Zulu Nation. You know, so it's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because we can stop using the word conspiracy now when we talk about things that actually we thought was conspiracy in hip hop, but now it's actually true. You know, and they also like to say that the homo thug was created from hip hop, from dudes who went to jail and came home and became hip hop artists. But the Zulu Nation was hiring brothers who came from prison and they were put into the hip hop industry. So now we can see where all these things are coming from. So, like I said, man, I salute you on bringing this stuff out, man, because you're blowing the lid off of something that's been covered up for years, and that's
Now,
why you got a lot of these people trying to, basically shut the whole conversation down, because if you go into their backgrounds, they're connected to people or know people that's with the Zulu
yeah,
Nation
half of
or
the
has worked for them.
half of the goddamn conscious community come out of the prison population.
That's true.
Wow. Yeah, that's a wow moment. That's a oh shit.
Yeah, you know, and it's interesting that like you were saying, Black Dot had joined the conversation about this, but he's from the Bronx, so he grew up around this type of stuff. He's a hip hop artist himself. Red and
Yeah,
Blue, Red and Blue Pill was from the Bronx.
yeah,
So all these dudes are they're tied into all of this stuff. You know,
yeah.
they grew up and looked up to these people. It like Poppy said, it was cool to be a Zulu. Everybody wanted to be down with them. They even have Zulu Nation bike clubs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. They got Zulu everything. They got Zulu condoms, panties, socks, shit, barbecue apparel and different shit. Zulu dolls and shit. Bam, comic books and whatever they can put Zulu on and shit. They trying to sell it. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's like I heard Red Pill one time said, well, they trafficking people right down the street, but we ain't doing shit about that. And it's like, hold up, you know they trafficking motherfuckers down the street and you ain't doing nothing about that? What the fuck is going on? That's why I was tripping earlier when I was doing the conversation with Dr. Phone Call. I was like, where's the morals and values and honor of the people in the community? They just let any damn thing fly. And once you start letting different stuff happen and different stuff happen pretty soon, it's gonna be lawless and every damn thing gonna be going on. Yes, everything gonna be going on. You're gonna be watching a debate and somebody gonna be doing some homo shit in the corner and fucking and shit and all kind of stuff. Just light up the crack pipe right there in the middle of a lecture. And you're like, everybody watching, like, oh, this nigga smoking crack and different shit. That was the big deal when Nazi called Cyrus Suit City out on smoking crack and stuff. Now I don't agree with the fact that he did it during the debate and everything because they was not supposed to do that. But when he did that, it hit hard because he got him on the national stage and he did it when he wasn't supposed to do it. He gave his word as a man, which he went back on it. But this the type of games that they was playing out there, man. They had no morals and no values. This how Polite can do what he did, and Sonetta, go. But then niggas was too bitch to fight against Sonetta and Polite and that whole machine at the time and step away and create their own platform. Anytime y'all all can come together and get the nation of Israel, quote unquote, together, or the Hebrew nation, Hebrew Israelite nation together and produce damn near $1 million some dollars, do that on your own behalf. But I didn't try to debate Divine, Tazariot, Daniela. I never speak too much on her shot because he's not a cameraman like that. And all these different people turn me down and stuff. And it's like, oh, y'all debate comedic people and lose to them and help them make money and stuff, but you don't want to help further the Israelite call, whether if I'm an Israelite Christian or just an Israelite or Christian, just because I don't call myself a Hebrew Israelite, blackball me and playing shit. Ain't nobody got love, like the Bible said, love and wax cold, and that's what it is. No morals, no values, no principles, and love and wax cold, and damn near anything goes now. Standard.
I mean, I don't, when it comes to that chemist stuff, it's never no morals and standards anyway. With a lot of those people that I see standing behind it, and far as the Prince York thing that I heard you talking about, with the person on the phone, you know, that's Bambaata's father. That's who he look up to.
Yeah.
And like father, like son. So you can basically track it back from York to Bam down to Polite. All of these things are connected. And what you're doing is you're connecting the dots. And see, once a person start connecting the dots and start speaking on it, people have to be held accountable. None of these people want to be held accountable for what they've been a part of for all these years. Because a lot of people don't understand that silence equals agreement. If you're quiet about something,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
you actually agree to what's going on. You actually is with what's going on. So we have to understand that by not using our platforms for the right purpose, we're actually letting this thing go on and on and on and on, because still to this day in 2017, more African American children want to be hip hop artists more than anything in the world.
Yep. And
Still to this day. So,
Jermaine,
so y'all
Jermaine,
think it's still not going on?
Jermaine the Priest still got a goddamn young hip hop artist thing that he's doing, like he tried to do with Bow Wow and Chris Cross and all of that shit. And people question what that was all about, if it was pedophilia and shit going on with that. So I mean, it's been talked about, it's been dealt with. TLC dressing up like they boys damn near and shit with the butch ass looks, but they was pretty ass young ladies and stuff, and still had a feminine this and that, all the way from that to the brat to Young Ma now and all the different things that you see. And you could just see, it wasn't about drugs and hip hop and shit. They was going against that. Next thing you know, it's sipping on syrup and we on that X, we on that this, and you know what I'm saying, and all the different stuff that you got in the so-called hip-hop culture. But this is where Russell Simmons' nephew them come in, DMX and all of that, when they was doing this dark-ass demonic rap at one time. I remember listening to something, and I ain't heard it in a long time, but Tupac, Biggie, them doing that running from the police and shit, I guess, era. They had some demonic, crazy ass raps. This is what Nas talking about. He went to hell for snuffing Jesus and doing shit. And it's like, this type of shit is what they was marketing and promoting. I remember what's that album? It had the X. It was the great DMX album. I think it was his third one. He did the first one, Hell is Hot or whatever, and then he did the other one,
Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
yep. And then when he came to the X, I bought that album. And I was down here in Arkansas at the time I bought it, and I was riding around. I was listening to it, and I was like, I can't have this fucking album. This album will make me do some shit I don't want to do. I knew it. I was like, I could not have this album. I need to get this album away from me. And I was finna break it and throw it away. My partner said, give it to me. I was like, you don't need this shit. He said, no, let me have it. So I gave it to him, and he got my books, Roots of Strategy. Man, next thing I know, they called me talking about this nigga that robbed the liquor store and did this and that and shit. I said, motherfucker, I told you you didn't need that album. You sitting down there reading and trying to strategize how to rob the goddamn store. Look at you. Now you got a felony on your shit. All because you sit up here and dealt with that demonic shit. I told you we should have got rid of that motherfucker that day. That's the type of shit that we, man, most people just don't know these things when they going on. You know what I'm saying? Oh yes, demonic shit went real hard. We down here with 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs and all of them people. They was creating that demonic stuff at the time. That's what the whole chant's about. if you know anything about Southern hip hop, it's just like a bone, more murder, murder, more murder, more murder. And you like, this motherfucker just sitting up here saying more murder. Be good. You know what I'm saying? You know, talking about weed. I want to bring a Ouija on down and all of that. Nigga, you talking Ouija boards and shit? You know, this is where you see ASAP Rocky standing in the hexagon and all of that stuff. So it's, I mean, they play these games on us. You know, they do different things and we just don't know. But see, this is what happened to hip hop culture while we own it. When we had it and we was just doing it in the parks and we was chopping up the break beats and doing everything, we controlled it. We owned it. We could make it whatever we wanted to make it. You had to break B-boys, B-girls, and all of that. But when they took it and put it in the major hands, people like, oh, well, Biz Markie was the first one to get sampled, sued for samples and all of that. Well, long as you kept it in the park jams, you wouldn't have got sued. Long as you put it on the mixtapes and they went around, they don't know who produced that tape, this and that. But when you go to the music industry, then that's when now they control it because you're a part of the music industry. And even now, if we wanted to, we could rebel, chop up any music we want and play it locally and put it on tapes and mixtapes and put it out there and create the culture again, a rebel culture. Where you like, hell yeah, I'm finna sample this and I'm finna make a dope song out of it. And I don't care about the money. I just want this song out there with this message for the community. Gravitate towards that music because it's a great sample, it's a great chop, it's a great layout of where you took it from. And now you have no boundaries, nobody controlling you and stuff no more. Then you can talk about the stuff you want to talk about and stuff. But everybody want that money and stuff that come with signing with Rock Nation and being a part of that type of stuff and everything. And that's how they gonna get you. That's how you gonna get bent over and get fucked. As the dude from No Limit said, oh yeah, you're gonna get fucked for your record deal. Literally fucked for your record deal. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get fucked over, you just gonna get fucked. And so it's man, like I said, I've been around the bad boy circles. You know what I'm saying? And it was a pretty interesting night. Strippers and stuff, guns and you know, all of that type of stuff, you know, but I think I spoke a couple times about one thing that happened there that I ain't too fond of talking about, you know, but it was an interesting night, you know what I'm saying? I've been around the Princes, Shaka Khan, Larry Graham. I've been around Die and, you know, different people in the Shy and everything when I was trying to fuck with the music business. But man, it's just crazy, man. Money, power, and respect, sex, money, and murder. What you know about those things, you know, money, power, and respect, sex, money, and murder. All of that shit, as Big Pun said, that's the glamour life now. That's why power is so attractive to people. I'm in a big, rich town. I just come from the, you know, the poorest part of it. But if you can go down there like on the get down and stuff and make it around them Illuminati cats and the different people that got the money and stuff, and you got what they want, you got the drugs, so you know how to get to the young black ladies because some of them old white men or whatever want to get some of that young tender blackness and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and different stuff. If you can provide them with their fetishes, then you know you can come up.
Wow.
So
Yeah, you know, I'm glad we definitely discussed that part because, you know, like I said, just for the youth, you know, a lot of them, they're hooked on the, you know, the conspiratorial things that they say about what's going on in hip hop. So I'm definitely glad we was able to talk about that because that sheds light on the youth and
it
them
ain't even
numbers.
conspiracy though.
Yeah,
That's just
it's not. It's really not. It's not. But a lot of the older people who were in love with hip hop, who hip hop actually saved their life to some degree, they're the ones that's telling these children that it's a conspiracy, or don't believe that, you know, that's just hearsay. But you know, here today on Sheepstaysleep TV, man, you dropping bombs, man. We basically connecting the dots to all this stuff, man. And
Yeah.
I hope this conversation that we having can enlighten some of the shorties, because like I said, we don't want to be athletes like that no more. We damn sure don't want to be doctors. We don't want to be lawyers. We don't want to be police officers, politicians, or anything. We want to be hip hop artists. And a lot of these children are willing to do the same things that Poppy and them said they accepted being done to them to get on. Because like he said, once he got over the boogeyman being in the bedroom, he loved everything else. And that ties with these artists today. Like the artist who just died over a drug overdose, Lil Peep.
Yeah, but then
Now,
it's in general. If you want to be a part of the football team, but you're not really an athlete, what you gonna do? You're gonna be the water boy. You just want to be a part of the team so you can go on the road trips and go places. If they go to the championship, you get a championship ring. You want to be a part of the team. You just want to be around the shit. So even with that, if you want to be in the in crowd and they say, well, you got to let, you know, dude, fuck you, Greek fraternities did it, whatever. When they put stipulations on you and haze you or do shit or initiate you in with some sick shit, then that's what it is. So the thing is to never want to be a part of the. That's why I ain't never been a part of no gang. You can't whoop my ass into nothing. You whoop my ass, I'm gonna come back want to shoot everybody. So the gang is over with right after you jump me in. I'm coming trying to kill all you motherfuckers. So that ain't no type of gang right there. So this is what young people need to know when like it's like welcome to the nightlife and shit. While you out there thinking everything cool, yes, they could be slipping you a Mickey and shit. They could be fucking you up and knocking you out and fucking you on tape and doing crazy shit to you. You got to be careful, you know, careful in everything you do. Oh, you want to be a part of the band? Next thing you know, you get around these motherfuckers and they catch you while you sleep and they tie you up and on some, you know, shit, military shit, whooped your ass and haze you and do shit to you. It's just sick people out there that'll do that shit. And if you ain't watching out, who, you know what I'm saying? You been a got caught up in something somewhere you don't need to be, and you be like, what the fuck? I told somebody the other day, because I went to pick some putt cons. I don't know why I ain't put that video up. I went to pick up some putt cons. So I was out there by the field that I ain't been around in a long time and stuff out there a little further away from town. And I was thinking when I was younger, I went into this little drainage ditch, rice drainage thing. We was looking for little crawdads or whatever, you know, like little crabs or whatever, but we call them crawdads. And so I went crawling my ass up in that pipe. Now the pipe wasn't that big. I wasn't that big, but I could barely fit in there. And I got my ass halfway in that pipe. And you know what came to my mind? If a snake was sitting up here in the middle of this goddamn pipe, I couldn't bag out quick enough. It'll bite me all in my face and shit. And I was like, I ain't got no damn business being in this pipe. Let me get my ass up out this pipe. And I never been in another drainage pipe again. But I could have lost my life learning that lesson. But when I thought about it, I'm in the middle of this pipe and I can't bag my ass out of him fast enough if a snake was sitting up in here. I was somewhere that I didn't need to be. And if that snake was there, that motherfucker would have bit me. And this is what the youth need to know, that sometimes you don't need to take your ass in them drainage pipes because it might be a snake in there waiting on your ass. So you can learn from experience or you can learn from other people's experience. But, you know, lessons sometimes are hard to learn. It's a price to be paid when you're learning lessons. And so it's best to learn from other people's experiences. It's less cost on your ass.
Indeed, indeed, I agree, man. So, is there anything you want to say? Because I pretty much, I asked all of the questions, and you know, the the other
But man,
things
I
that I
just
wanted to discuss, we talked about. So, is there anything else you want to touch on, bro?
want to appreciate it when you keeping it thorough and being a real nigga since day one. Even with me and you, as people know and some don't know, I called you out on the video you made and stuff. I made, some constructive criticism and stuff. Then I said, well, let's talk about it. You came over, we talked about it. We've been cool A1 since day one. You know what I'm saying? So that's some real people stuff, real nigga stuff. And so therefore I got respect for you and your platform, man, and what you do over here. I ain't always in the chat and stuff, but I drop through from time to time and stuff. I be so busy with my own stuff, but this do give us an opportunity, just like whenever you want to come over, it gives us an opportunity to connect and cross market and promote different stuff. So I appreciate that, man. Um I try to do it with other people, but like I said, they part of the click type shit, and they in certain clicks and stuff, and I ain't bent over to get fucked yet or suck nobody you off or do no faggot ass shit to be on them platforms and stuff. So, I'm glad I can link with a real nigga at certain times and do some real nigga shit, from the street perspective. Real people do real things. You could be a nigga, hunky, cracker, or whatever, but hook with real people and do real people stuff. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you joining in and using the hashtag and promoting it, allowing me to come over and promote it. And I really believe, man, this board need to be found. It ain't because I want to poke at Poppy and shit. I mean, that's just icing on the cake, you know. But it's a real cause that need to be dealt with, because I believe he dead. I didn't talk to, people, and they done said themselves, and they real close and involved with the situation, and they like, well, I believe he dead. So, I ain't even as close as some of these people, and they said they believe he dead. So, only one way to find out, and that's if he pop up, and then we got to watch for that, because they could go find a goddamn crisis act and have some nigga say he him, but he ain't him and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's crazy. One thing about it, them Zulus know who he is. Poppy know who he is. Meg got stabbed up. He know who he was. Bam know who he was. We don't know who he was. And, until he pop up and tell his story, everything anybody got to do or say is very questionable. I don't know who that nigga is. I don't know. Prove it. And when you come, bring his brother too. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just looking for one person now. From her son conversation, both brothers is disappeared now. So
No doubt, man. Anytime, you know, brotherhood is always key, man, and I consider you one of my big brothers. So always, man, anytime, just reach out to me whenever I get the time, we could do it, man. And I'm gonna put something together, so I can come over there and you can interview me on a few things, and you know, it's always 100, bro.
yeah, I gotta ask you about New York, man. I don't know about New York. I gotta talk to more New York people on the air, and y'all explain New York to people, because I know people from other states is like, what the fuck is going on in New York? All this shit going down. You know what I'm saying? Because I just heard a brother, he said it. He was from the 5% Nation, and he was like, as 5%ers, I don't give a fuck if it was RZA and he started naming some big 5%er rappers. He was like, that nigga would have came up missing. We would have killed this ass. He wouldn't have been running around here molesting motherfuckers and doing that. What's up? What's wrong with them Zulus? You know, we all know, just like the murder and shit of Biggie and Tupac and shit, which is sad to say, but if Bam would have got murdered, killed, or taken away, you still could have got them residuals, and the Zulus could have went on and stuff. So it's like, what the hell's going on? He doing all this sickness, and y'all letting this shit ride? I just don't understand it.
Like you said, man, it's about that money and power. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And that's what, that's what this has always been about, and ever since, ever since you really brought this thing to the forefront, the way it should be brought to the forefront, I'm going to say, even like I said, my wife is from the Bronx. Her mom used to take her to Bambaataa concerts. She went to shows in the parks out there and all that type of stuff. And she used to even play Planet Rock in the house. She stopped playing the shit because she was like, yo, man, I never thought that this dude would really be this way, because in the Bronx, period, not even just Bronx River, but the Bronx, Harlem, Brooklyn, I'm going to say the whole New York City looked up to Bam as a hero. He was like a hood hero.
Yeah.
He was like a hood hero. So, he affected a lot of people's lives, man. He pretty much changed this of the way people thought, because this whole comedic thing and all of that stuff, Bam is the one who really put that forth.
Him and
he's the one who made it cool to wear Ankh.
Him and York.
To dress up like a pharaoh, right? Him and Dr. York. But Dr. York was more of he was more of a teacher from a different aspect. Bam made it cool for children.
I understand that nigga was hip hop. That's all you gotta say. That nigga was hip hop. Where the fuck is hip hop at today? $1 billion industry. Hip hop. That nigga was hip hop.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But York was pulling the strings and making sure everything they was doing was accepted. But as we know, Kemet shit has been gay from the beginning. Phallus worshiping and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? The Ankh supposed to be a pussy and stuff. So pussies and phallus and this, that, and everything else. That's where the Greeks got it from. They stole the legacy. So when you say Greek Bambaataa, now it's Africa Bambaataa, because Africans talk to Greeks. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Them people ain't got no answer for that homosexual shit that went on in Kemet and stuff. And a lot of people that real say, well, we the mothers and fathers of everything. You know what I'm saying? We birthed all this shit on the earth. Even if you created, as they say, God created the devil, even if you say you created Yaku, the big head sciences, or whatever, black man brought this shit into existence. But a lot of people want to say, oh, it wasn't that way in Kemet and stuff. No, you're a damn lie. Whoever the first people on earth was, is the first people to do that shit at some point. You're going to say, well, y'all brought these new people on earth and they started doing it. Okay, all right, well, you brought them here and they started doing it, so you still created. You created the motherfucker that did the shit. So either way it go, you got to take responsibility for it. And the black man don't want to take responsibility for it and deal with it in the way it should be. But, it's called a big apple for a reason, just like this computer. You take a bite out of the apple, you know what I'm saying? The apple is figuratively a whole lot of stuff. So the big apple has a worm in it. And Ben had a worm in it.
Exactly. So shout out to you, bro. Good looking for coming through. Let me conduct this interview with you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You like what you heard, hit the like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to my brother Israel Doctrine. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to all his channels. Israel Doctrine Reloaded. And Israel Doctrine MCEO. You know, hit the notification button. You know, subscribe to Sheepstaysleeptv. Stay in tune with me. I'm your host, DS1 Ross. Shout out to you again, OG, and we're
Yeah.
gonna talk, bro. We're gonna talk.
Shout out to everybody that came over and watched too. Hopefully, you know, this motherfucker get big. You know what I'm saying? That people watching and you get some good numbers over here.
Oh yeah, that's always a good thing, man. But the message is more important. You know, message is always more important. But definitely,
Yeah.
bro. So we'll chop it up, OG.
Peace.
Peace.